മനോഹരമായി കാത്തു സൂക്ഷിക്കുവാനായി വിളിച്ചവർ നേടിപ്പെട്ട എൻ്റെ ജനങ്ങൾ ഇന്ന് വികലമാക്കപ്പെട്ട ഒരു സമൂഹത്തിൻ്റെ ഭാഗമായി ദൈവരാജ്യത്തിൻ്റെ വർദ്ധനവിനായി വിളിച്ചവർ നേടിപ്പെട്ട ഒരു സമൂഹം ഞങ്ങളുടെ ശുശ്രൂഷയ്ക്ക് താൽക്കാലികമായ ദർശനം തരികയാണ്. ഞങ്ങളുടെ കർത്താവെ ശക്തമായി അതിനായി നീ സജ്ജമാക്കുകയും ചെയ്യുന്നത് ക്രിസ്തുവാണ്. ഈ പഠനത്തിൻ്റെ പ്രത്യേക ആവശ്യങ്ങളോട് പ്രതികരിക്കുവാൻ തക്ക സമയത്ത് കർത്താവെ നീ ഞങ്ങൾ തന്ന ദർശനത്തിനായി കഴിഞ്ഞ 25 വർഷം അനുഗ്രഹകരമായി കർത്താവെ നിറവേറ്റുവാൻ നീ അധികാരപ്പെടുത്തുകയും ചെയ്ത ക്രിസ്തുവാണ്. വെല്ലുവിളികളുടെ മധ്യത്തിൽ തളർന്നു പോകാൻ അനുവദിക്കാതെ നേതൃത്വം നൽകുവാൻ താവേതകരായ പ്രിയപ്പെട്ടവരെ ഓരോ കാലങ്ങളിലും നൽകി ഇതിൻ്റെ വളർച്ചയിൽ താവെ നീ തന്നെ ഇതിനെ നയിച്ചതോർത്ത് നന്ദിയോട് സ്തുതിക്കുന്നു. തിരിഞ്ഞു നോക്കുമ്പോൾ കഴിഞ്ഞ 25 വർഷക്കാലം വ്യാപരിച്ച ദൈവകൃപ അതോർത്ത് സ്തോത്രം ചെയ്യുവാൻ ഈ ശുശ്രൂഷയിൽ കൂടെ സമൂഹത്തിൽ മുഖ്യധാരയിലേക്ക് വന്നുചേർന്ന പ്രിയപ്പെട്ടവരെ ഓർക്കുവാനും വിനീതമായ ദൈവത്തിൻ്റെയും നന്ദി പറയുവാനും ഞങ്ങൾക്കെന്ന ഭാഗ്യത്തിനായ നന്ദിയോട് സ്തോത്രം. ഈ ശുശ്രൂഷയ്ക്ക് യോഗ്യതയുണ്ടായിട്ടുള്ള കർത്താവെങ്കിലും ഈ വലിയ ശുശ്രൂഷ ഞങ്ങളുടെ വിശ്വസ്തരം നേടി ഫലമേൽപ്പിച്ച നിന്റെ മാറ്റമില്ലാത്ത വിശ്വസ്തതയ്ക്കായി ഞങ്ങളെ ശക്തീകരിച്ച നിന്റെ പരിശുദ്ധാത്മാവിന്റെ ശക്തിക്കായി നന്ദിയോട് സ്തോത്രം. കർത്താവേ, നവജീവന്റെ രജത ജൂബിലി കൊണ്ടാടുന്ന ഈ കാലഘട്ടത്തിൽ ഞങ്ങളെ തന്നെ ഒന്ന് വിലയിരുത്തുവാനും പ്രവർത്തനങ്ങളെ വിലയിരുത്തുവാനും എത്രമാത്രം ഈ ശുശ്രൂഷയിൽ ഞങ്ങൾ വിജയിച്ചു എന്ന ശോധനയിൽ ഞങ്ങളെ സഹായിക്കുന്നു. ദൈവസന്നിധിയിൽ നിന്ന് ഞങ്ങൾ വന്ന് സമൂഹത്തിൽ ഞങ്ങളുടെ നേരെ ഉയർത്തുന്ന വെല്ലുവിളികളെ കുറെ ആഴമായി കാണുവാൻ കുറെ കൂടെ വ്യക്തതയോടുകൂടെ പ്രവർത്തിക്കാനും കർത്താവ് ആഗ്രഹിക്കുന്ന മഹത്വകരമായ ശുശ്രൂഷ അടികൾ ശക്തിയോടുകൂടെ പ്രവർത്തിക്കുന്നതിന് ഈ കാലം ഞങ്ങളെ നീ സഹായിക്കണമേ. ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് നേതൃത്വം നൽകുന്ന ആളുടെ ഞങ്ങളുടെ പ്രിയപ്പെട്ടവരെ വിശേഷിച്ച് കാലികമായ ദാസനോട് കൊടുക്കുന്ന ദർശനത്തിനായിട്ട് നന്ദിയോട് പ്രവർത്തിക്കുന്ന ആളുടെ ഡയറക്ടേഴ്സിന് വേണ്ടി സ്റ്റാഫിന് വേണ്ടി അവിടെ ആയിരിക്കുന്ന ഞങ്ങളുടെ പ്രിയപ്പെട്ടവർക്ക് വേണ്ടിയൊക്കെ നന്ദിയോട് സ്തോത്രം ഞങ്ങൾ പ്രാർത്ഥിക്കുന്നു. ഇത് ഈ മീറ്റിങ്ങിൽ കർത്താവിന് വലിയ സാഹചര്യം പ്രത്യേകിച്ച് സമൂഹത്തിൽ വളരെ ശക്തമായ നേതൃത്വം നൽകുന്ന ആളുകളുടെ ദാസികൾക്ക് പ്രധാനമായി കേൾക്കുവാനായിട്ട് അവസരം നിന്നോർത്ത് നന്ദിയോട് സ്തുതിക്കുന്നു. ഞങ്ങളുടെ ജീവിതത്തിൽ കുറേക്കൂടെ ആഴമായ ദർശനം ലഭിക്കുന്നതിനും ഞങ്ങളുടെ നേരെ ശക്തമായ വെല്ലുവിളിയായി വരുന്നതിനും അത് കാരണമായി തീർന്നേ. ഇതിൻ്റെ ദാസിൽ കൂടെ വളരെ ആഴത്തിൽ ഞങ്ങളോട് സംസാരിക്കുകയും ഞങ്ങളുടെ അലസതയിൽ നിന്ന് ഞങ്ങൾ വിമുഖത പ്രാപിച്ച് കുറെ കൂടെ ആർജവത്തോടുകൂടെ ദൈവരാജ്യത്തിന്റെ കെട്ടുപണിയിൽ ഞങ്ങൾ പങ്കാളികളായി തീർന്നതിനും ഇതിനും അവരുടെ സാക്ഷ്യവും ഇന്നത്തെ പ്രഭാഷണവും മുഖാന്തരമായി തീരണമെന്ന് പ്രാർത്ഥിക്കുന്നു. ഒന്നുചേർന്ന എല്ലാവർക്കുമായ സ്തോത്രം. ഈ സമ്മേളനം ഏറ്റവും അനുഗ്രഹമായി തീരുവാൻ ദൈവപരിശുദ്ധാത്മാവിന്റെ സാന്നിധ്യം ആദ്യോടുന്നുണ്ടായിരിക്കണം. ഇത് അനുഗ്രഹമായി തീരുവാൻ ദൈവകൃപയായിരിക്കണം. ഒന്നുചേർന്ന പ്രിയപ്പെട്ടവരെ യേശുവിൻ നാമത്തിൽ യാചിക്കുന്നു. കൃപയോടെ കേൾക്കുമാറാകണം.
വളരെ നന്ദി അച്ഛ. ഇന്നത്തെ ഈ സെമിനാർ ഇത്ര മനോഹരമായി നടക്കുന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ അതിൻ്റെ പിറകിൽ അനേകരുടെ അക്ഷീണ പരിശ്രമമുണ്ട്. എന്നാൽ എല്ലാവരുടെയും ചുക്കാൻ പിടിച്ചത് ഏറ്റവും മികച്ച സംഘാടക പ്രാവീണ്യമുള്ള തോമസ് കുര്യനച്ഛനാണ്. അതുകൊണ്ട് തന്നെ വന്നു ചേർന്നിരിക്കുന്ന ഏവരെയും സ്വാഗതം ചെയ്യുവാനായി ബഹുമാനപ്പെട്ട റവറൻഡ് തോമസ് കുര്യനച്ഛനെ ക്ഷണിക്കുന്നു.
Very warm good evening to all. Good evening. That sounds better. Navjeevan Centre is celebrating its 25 years of its mission work with the underprivileged children and mothers. Mission is not a location but a lifestyle. We have gathered here to listen, to unlearn, and ignite ourselves with the passion of battling the social evil of human trafficking. We are here to be inspired so as to involve not only ourselves but others towards the mission. Let me address the gathering to welcome and also offer words of gratitude to the guests and all assembled here. On a lighter note, let me state that there will be no word of thanks. We believe that in welcome contains the word of thanks. Acknowledgement comes from above and the smiles that we have to restore. Firstly, let me welcome the President of Navjeevan Centre, Right Reverend Dr. Gabriel Markedosius Episcopa, who looks into the minutest details of the institution and always approaches with a proactive mind and flames the need of vision to everyone. The land in Murbad, once considered God's forsaken land, is being transformed into God's chosen place with ample greenery and water filled with milk and honey. I call upon Mr. C.M. Samuel to come forward with a token of appreciation to welcome the many. Let's put our hands together and welcome the guests. This plant would be nourished and molded by Navjeevan Centre. Dr. Sunitha Krishnan was from my hometown in Hyderabad. Was recognized as one of the 150 fearless women in the world by Newsweek. We asked her a question this afternoon: how many children do you have? And the reply was 1,000 children. Today, over a short conversation, we could understand how poor is our mind towards the social issues in our world. She points it as poverty of mind. I would share details later on through media because of time constraints, and it is an honor that we could have Dr. Sunitha Krishnan to be our speaker so as to inspire, ignite and involve in the mission of Navjeevan in the best way possible. Along with Brother Jose Whitaker, they co-founded the NGO named Prajwala, which is doing a marvelous work with trafficked women and children, similar and much bigger than Navjeevan Centre. She was sharing about the pain of rescuing a 3-year-old child who was used for sex trafficking recently, and that pain was in her face today. Let me call upon Reverend Isaac G. Verghese, who served in the institution for the last 4 years, and he was the one who recommended Madam to this august body. So I asked Achin to welcome dear Dr. Sunitha Krishnan. Let's hope for a big word. We have our Diocesan Secretary Achin, who has to look into everything of the diocese. Thank you, Achin, for taking your time and coming for us. And let me call Mr. O.A. Thomas to come forward and offer welcome to dear G. Achin. O.A. Thomas. Let's give a big hand to our dear G. Achin. We have our Bishop Secretary who works along with the Bishop and works days and night for us. I call Mr. K. Mebran to welcome dear Reverend Joel Thomas Achin. K. Mebran. Mr. Timothy Sakri will do it. Let's give a big hand to the people behind Navjeevan Centre, the force, the people who work in the reality are our dear directors Achin. Reverend Gino Ibn Kurian Achin and Reverend Manu Abraham Achin are with us. I call upon Mr. Ishu Abraham to come forward or welcome dear Gino Ibn Kurian Achin, our Navjeevan director. I call upon Mr. O. Samuel to come forward to welcome our Reverend Manu Abraham. Let's give a big hand. He's a parishioner of this church. We have our Navjeevan treasurer, Mr. Verghese Philip. I call Mr. James from Mar Church to come forward and welcome dear Verghese Philip. Let him do the needful, please. Let's give a big round of applause. We have the project consultant and the person who works in the light area, and she's a coordinator. We have Dr. Dolly James. I call upon Simi to welcome Dr. Dolly James. Let's give a big hand. We have our council member, Mrs. Annie Koshi, with us. I call upon Mrs. Beena Abraham to welcome dear Annie Koshi. Thank you so much. And also we have our council member, eminent, who has taken time especially. We also welcome Achin. I call upon Liz to come forward and welcome eminent. We have Binoy Achin from Kalyan Parish with us. We have Solomon Achin who has come from Nerur. We have dear Jackson Achin who comes from the Jacobite Church. He visits New Chaplain. Thank you so much. We have Achins from Mumbai Centre. And we have also Tom John Achin from Goregoan Parish. And we have Robin K. George Achin from Baruch. And we welcome all the Achins with big applause. We also have our members of the Navjeevan community. Wherever you are seated, if you could just stand, just give a big round of welcome to you also. Navjeevan members of the Navjeevan community. Thank you so much. Let's give a big round. The Mandalam and Assembly members of various parish. Before I conclude, let me thank and also welcome dear John Joseph Achin. He's very, very receptive, and he has worked along with us in making this program in such a beautiful way. Thank you, dear Achin. All the parish members of this church, it's a big, big thing that you did. Let's give a big hand to this. Let me conclude by saying the word Saath. It means with. And we have to give that assurance after this seminar that we are with you, and we want to say a message: stay affirmed, and we're always together with you. May God be with us, and may God help us to be with the Navjeevan Centre. Thank you, and may God bless us all.
We are all familiar with John 8:12, which quotes, "I am the light of the world," he said. Whoever follows Abraham Achin, Reverend Thomas K. Jacob Achin, Diocesan Secretary Reverend Gigi Thomas Achin, and Navjeevan Trustee Mr. Burgess Philip, and Pooja Gowda for the lighting of the lamp. We request Silveni and Dr. Sunitha Krishnan to stay on stage for the signing of the board. We have a board on stage. We request other Achins and members to please be seated. We request Silveni and Dr. Sunitha Krishnan on stage. We have a board on stage which shows an empty hand. As Saath rightly believes, stay affirmed, always together. We now have Triveni and Dr. Sunitha Krishnan signing the signboard at the stage, confirming their affirmation and support towards this cause. This board will be available outside near the gate. By the end of the program, as each one of us go home, we request each one of us to kindly acknowledge by signing and showing your support towards this cause.
ഈ സെമിനാർ പ്രോഗ്രാമിൽ അധ്യക്ഷത വഹിക്കുന്നത് മാർ തോമ സഭയുടെ മുംബൈ മദ്രാസിലെ അധ്യക്ഷൻ അഭിമന്യനായ റവറൻഡ് ഡോക്ടർ ദിവ്യനിസ്മാണല്ലോ. ദൈവം നിയോഗിക്കുന്ന കർമ്മ മേഖലകളിൽ സമൂഹത്തിന്റെ സ്പന്ദനം അറിഞ്ഞ് അസന്നവരുടെ ഇടയിലേക്ക് ഇറങ്ങിച്ചെന്ന വ്യക്തമായ കാഴ്ചപ്പാടുകളോടും കുറച്ച നിലപാടുകളോടും ദൈവാശ്രയത്തോടെ പ്രവർത്തിക്കുന്ന വ്യക്തിത്വം, ആർദ്രതയും സ്നേഹവും കനിയുന്ന പ്രകൃതം. പുതിയ പ്രവർത്തന പദ്ധതികൾ ആവിഷ്കരിച്ച് നടപ്പാക്കുന്നതിന് മുമ്പേ നേരത്തെ നടപ്പാക്കിയ പദ്ധതികൾ കാര്യക്ഷമമായും വിജയകരമായും പ്രവർത്തിക്കുന്നുണ്ട് എന്ന് ഉറപ്പാക്കുന്ന പ്രവർത്തന ശൈലി. ഈ വർഷം തിരുമേനിയുടെ ജീവിതത്തിലും പ്രധാന നാഴികക്കല്ലുകൾ താണ്ടുന്ന വർഷമാണ്. തൻ്റെ ജന്മസപ്തതിയും മേൽപ്പെട്ട സ്ഥാനാരോഹണത്തിൻ്റെ 30-ാം വർഷവും കൂടുതൽ ഓജസ്സോടും അതിലേറെ തേജസ്സോടും കൂടി തൻ്റെ പ്രവർത്തന പന്ഥാവിൽ മുന്നേറുവാൻ സർവശക്തനായ ദൈവം തിരുമേനിയെ ആയുരാരോഗ്യ സൗഖ്യം നൽകി അനുഗ്രഹിച്ച് ബലപ്പെടുത്തട്ടെ എന്ന് ഞങ്ങൾ ഏവരും പ്രാർത്ഥിക്കുകയും ആശംസിക്കുകയും ചെയ്യുകയും ഏറ്റവും ആദരവോടെ തിരുമേനിയെ അധ്യക്ഷ പ്രസംഗത്തിനായി ക്ഷണിക്കുകയും ചെയ്യും.
Thank you, Bina, for the kind words. Distinguished guests of the day, Padma Shri Dr. Sunitha Krishnan, revered fathers, members of the Sabha Council, members of the Diocesan Council, members of the Sabha Mandala, members of the Diocesan Assembly, staff, members and children of the Navjeevan, all the members of the Navjeevan family, brothers and sisters, parents and children, good evening to all of you. It gives me great joy to stand before you and in the presence of God, to give thanks for the wonderful ways in which God has led our Navjeevan Centre through the last 25 years. This is not a time, as I very well know, to tell you more about Navjeevan, because Navjeevan is at the very heart of each person who is assembled over here, and more than what I know about Navjeevan, you know Navjeevan better. But then standing before you, being the president of this meeting, I just want to tell you about how the church pursues this ministry which we carry out through Navjeevan. This ministry has a theological dimension. When I say theological dimension, there is a hand of God behind everything that we do in Navjeevan. Each child in Navjeevan is precious, and his or her life has enormous value. The child is a gift of God to the total cosmic world. The birth of a child is an indication of God's creative process. It is Navjeevan Tagore, a Nobel laureate, who once said, each child coming into this world is announcing to the whole world that God hasn't yet finished with His ministry. In every child, we need to see the hope of a bright world which God has already set in the heart of each child. The success story of Navjeevan tells us that a child who does not know who his or her father is turns out to be a good parent later on in a settled home where children are born to the wedded couple
the man and the woman. Therefore, we are not called to find our own safe and secure places in this world, but to turn to the wicked world to transform it by participating in God's creative process in the space where we are placed now. When we say that God is the creator of each child that we see in Navjeevan or in Prajwala, remember, God has a purpose about bringing us all together into this meeting as well. When we go out of this meeting, we should be praising God for creating children, giving them as gift to the whole world. And at the same time, praying to God to give us a spirit with which we will understand each child as created by God, not by humans. Well, humans have got a part to play in the creative process. But then remember, unless and until God has a wish to see that a life comes into this world as life, the child will not be here on the surface of earth. And from the very day the child is born, it's not simply the parents or the friends who take care of the child. God is very much pleased in seeing that the child is taken care of. And it is the hand of God that we need to see in each child. When you think about the children that is there in Navjeevan Centre. Secondly, I want to emphasize the human concern that we need to have, a dimension which is to be there in the Navjeevan ministry. It is Mother Teresa who said that the greatest injustice we have done to our poor people is that we think they are good for nothing. We have forgotten to treat them with respect, with dignity as a child of God. Navjeevan children are human beings. They have all human rights like any other child in this world. They need shelter for accommodation. They need parental care. They need educational facilities. They need nutritious food. They need good health care. They need inner space or recreation. It is Malala Yousafzai, another Nobel laureate, who said, one book, one pen, one teacher can change the whole world. Mumbai campus is carrying out this ministry. Navjeevan has Navjeevan School in the Mumbai campus. We have a vocational training center and an extension home to help the children to grow in such a way that the God-given potential is brought out in the life of each child. Such a child should learn to feel self-esteem as the child is growing up. They should grow from the margins to the center of human society, where they will earn their living in a respectful manner and live among other members of the society with dignity. They have God-given talents which are to be used to glorify God and also to contribute to the total welfare of humanity. Navjeevan children therefore carry God's gifts to humanity. Navjeevan children carry God's gifts to the total humanity. And thirdly, I want to mention the eschatological dimension that we have in this ministry. We believe that each person on the surface of earth is on a pilgrimage to the kingdom of God. Therefore, we are all on such a spiritual pilgrimage, and we journey as God travelers. We believe that there is only one God who is the Father of us all. Hence, we are all brothers and sisters. And the child that we see in the Mumbai campus is our sibling. On this larger perspective, the 202 children in Navjeevan at present are living happily, are receiving God's gifts, and are also contributing joy to the whole world. Human trafficking of children is a man-made problem. It can be and it is to be corrected. The social perception on women and children need a thorough change. Women are not to be used and thrown away as useless. It is inhuman if someone throws acid on the face of any human being or start bullying with the thought that women are weak. It is inhuman if we prompt girls, young ladies and women to commit suicide out of shame and fear. For the transformation of our world, we need to inculcate values right from the day a child is born. The aim of life is to be useful. Let us make some differences in us and also in the world in which we live. I have been mentioning about 3 dimensions with which we need to see the Navjeevan ministry. 1, understanding the Creator God, where theologically we accept each child as given by God to us and to the whole world. And the second is the humanitarian concern which we need to have when we think about Navjeevan ministry. And the humanitarian concern would compel us to understand that each child has a human right and that cannot be denied. And at the same time, we need to understand that each child has God's gifts with which the child can be a contribution to the whole world. We always speak about the other and then we have an objective, a distance from us and then say that person. And would say theologically and also biblically that that person is an extension of my own self. Let me put it the other way around. I am an extension of a child in Navjeevan. I am an extension of a child in Navjeevan. Without a child on the surface of earth, my life on the surface of earth is meaningless. And let us therefore find meaning to the very life which we have on the surface of earth by relating ourselves to God's children whom we have at Navjeevan. And thirdly, every human life has got an aim. And the aim that we have as Christians is that we are on a pilgrimage to the kingdom of God. And in the kingdom of God there is only one Father who is Father of all. And therefore, everyone who is called pilgrims with us, they are our brothers and sisters. And in the kingdom of God, all are our siblings. One Father, and we are all God's children. God's name be praised. And may this program of Saath, being with the people, let that give the message of Stay Affirmed, and always let us be together. God's name be praised.
They have put up a program for all of us seated here, and we are eager to see them perform. Please put your hands together as they come forward to perform for us. children for this wonderful performance. Everybody please, a round of applause again.
അതെ, ആ സമയം സമാധാനമായിരിക്കുന്നു. ലോക പ്രശസ്തയായ കഴിവുറ്റ ഒരു മനുഷ്യാവകാശ പ്രവർത്തകയും ചലച്ചിത്ര നിർമ്മിതാവുമാണ് ശ്രീമതി ഡോക്ടർ സുനിത കൃഷ്ണൻ. കുട്ടികൾക്കും സ്ത്രീകൾക്കും എതിരായ ലൈംഗിക ചൂഷണങ്ങൾ, മനുഷ്യക്കടത്ത് എന്നിവയ്ക്കെതിരായി ശക്തമായി പ്രവർത്തിക്കുന്ന ഡോക്ടർ സുനിത സ്വയം മനുഷ്യക്കടത്തിന് ഇരയായ വ്യക്തിയാണ്. മെഡിക്കൽ ആൻഡ് സൈക്കാട്രിക് സോഷ്യൽ വർക്കിൽ ഉന്നത ബിരുദം നേടിയിട്ടുള്ള ഡോക്ടർ സുനിത 1996 ബ്രദർ ജോസിനോട് ചേർന്ന് ആരംഭിച്ച പ്രസ്ഥാനമാണ് പ്രജ്വല. പ്രജ്വല ചൂഷിതരെ രക്ഷിക്കുന്നതിനുള്ള കർമ്മ പരിപാടി ആണെങ്കിൽ അപരാജിതാന സംഘടന രക്ഷപ്പെട്ടവരെ പുനരധിവസിപ്പിക്കുന്ന പ്രവർത്തനങ്ങളിൽ ഏർപ്പെട്ടിരിക്കുന്നു. ആയിരക്കണക്കിന് കുട്ടികളെയും സ്ത്രീകളെയും രക്ഷിച്ച് പുനരധിവസിപ്പിച്ചിരിക്കുന്നു. മനുഷ്യക്കടത്ത് തടയുന്നതിനും അതിന് ഇരയായവരുടെ പുനരധിവാസത്തിനും ആവശ്യമായ നിയമനിർമ്മാണങ്ങളും നിയമ ഭേദഗതികളും ആന്ധ്ര, തെലങ്കാന, കേരള സംസ്ഥാനങ്ങളിൽ നടപ്പിലാക്കുന്നതിൽ ഡോക്ടർ സുനിത വഹിക്കുന്ന പങ്ക് അഭിനന്ദനീയമാണ്. ന്യൂസ് വീക്ക് തിരഞ്ഞെടുത്ത ലോകത്തിലെ നിർഭയരായ 150 സ്ത്രീകളിൽ ഒരുവൾ എന്ന പദവിയും ഡോക്ടർ സുനിതയ്ക്ക് ലഭിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട്. ഡോക്ടർ സുനിത നിർമ്മിച്ച നാ ബംഗാളു തല്ലി എന്ന തെലുങ്ക് ചിത്രത്തിന് 3 ദേശീയ പുരസ്കാരങ്ങളും 9 അന്തർദേശീയ പുരസ്കാരങ്ങളും ലഭിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട്. സ്വദേശവും വിദേശ രാജ്യങ്ങളും ഒട്ടേറെ ബഹുമതികൾ നൽകി ആദരിച്ചിട്ടുള്ള ഡോക്ടർ സുനിത കൃഷ്ണനെ 2016 നമ്മുടെ രാജ്യം പത്മശ്രീ നൽകി ആദരിച്ചു. ഇത്രയേറെ വ്യക്തിപ്രഭാവമുള്ള ചുമ്പുറപ്പുള്ള ഒരു ധീര വനിതയെ പത്മശ്രീ ഡോക്ടർ സുനിത കൃഷ്ണനെ കേൾക്കുവാനുള്ള അവസരം ലഭിച്ച നമ്മയെല്ലാം നമ്മൾക്ക് തന്നെ സ്വയം അഭിനന്ദിക്കാം.
Dr. Sunitha Krishnan, an eminent human rights activist and film producer, is nationally and internationally known for her fight against sex crimes and trafficking of women and children for the purposes of commercial sexual exploitation. She is the co-founder of Prajwala, a pioneering anti-trafficking organization. She has been instrumental in rescuing thousands of victims from sexual slavery and restoring hope and dignity to their lives. In her efforts to bring in large social transformation, Dr. Sunitha Krishnan has pioneered various path-breaking campaigns such as Movement Against Trafficking, Men Against Demand, the first ever campaign against sex offenders in the country, Shame the Rapist campaign, and Swaraksha, a community awakening caravan to counter trafficking. Dr. Krishnan also founded the first ever survivors movement, Aprajita, for survivors of sex trafficking. Dr. Krishnan has been at the forefront in bringing in policy changes and legal reforms for the welfare of victims of sex trafficking and sex crimes. In recognition of her work, Dr. Krishnan was conferred the 4th highest civilian honor in India, Padma Shri, in 2016. Na Bangaru Dalli, a Telugu feature film, produced by Dr. Krishnan, won 3 national awards in 2014 and 9 international awards. She was also recognized as 150 fearless women in the world by Newsweek. Ma'am, we welcome you forward for the seminar talk.
Namaskar. With your permission, I will not stand before you because I like to be seen and heard. മലയാളത്തിൽ സംസാരിച്ചാൽ കൊള്ളാം, so I will stick to English. Trying to mix some Malayalam words in between, but it's incredibly long introduction, very boring. I thought I will sleep, if not all of you all. Extremely proud to be here, honored Arjun for considering me for this very, very divine occasion, I would say, because 25 years in this mission is not a small thing. I know it because I've been doing it for the last 25 years myself, and I know how difficult it is to sustain a mission of this kind for 25 years. So many salutations, many thank yous on behalf of all the children across the country who go through such slavery-like conditions. Thank you so much to the church and to all the workers in the country. I really don't know whom I'm addressing to. Well, because if I'm addressing a converted crowd, then it doesn't, many of the things that I have to say doesn't make any big difference because you already know it. But maybe we can look at what I'm speaking right now as a reflection, as something for us to remember and remind again why we need to be doing what we are doing. എന്തിനാണ് നമ്മൾ നവജീവൻ പോലൊരു സെന്റർ വെച്ചിരിക്കുന്നത്, അതിന്റെ എത്രമാത്രം ആവശ്യമുണ്ട്, അത് ഓർമ്മിപ്പിക്കാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് ഒരു റിഫ്ലക്ഷൻ ആയിട്ട് എടുത്തോളൂ എൻ്റെ സെഷൻ. ബിക്കോസ് മെനി ഓഫ് ദ തിങ്സ് that I'm speaking might be something that you already know and not something that you are like this is something new or extraordinary that I'm saying. Some of the things that I might say might sound little not very pleasant and not very interesting, but I would like you to bear with me because the world that I come from is not a very pleasant world. The world that I come from, the world where human beings are bought and sold, is not a very beautiful and nice rosy picture. And that is why, first of all, what I would like to do is perhaps give you a little understanding about the human beings that we are talking about. We're talking about human trafficking. which means that we're talking about sale of human beings. Manushya kachoda, manushyamarne vikriya, medikiya. So which is this human being that we're talking about? What is the age of the human being that we're talking about? Let me give you two examples, two different kinds of examples for you to understand how far and how much I'm talking about. On to my right is Meenu, not her real name. She's 9 years old. In these 9 years, she has seen it all. She's an orphan child. She was brought up by a mother's sister. At the age of 4, the mother's sister put her on a tea stall to help the family there. At the age of 5, this woman sold this child to a pig. In the next 4 years, Meenu has travelled the entire country through different red light areas. She was gang raped by thousands of men in different red light areas. Finally, she was thrown on the highway in Hyderabad. Meenu's story is of a very vulnerable, impoverished child who, because of economic optionlessness, somebody sold. On the other side is a 3-year-old Akshaya. Akshaya does not come from a poor family. She is not an orphan. She comes from a very rich family, and in fact, her father is an IIT graduate. They found a job in one city in Odisha. The father was an assistant professor in the university. That particular day, 3-year-old Akshaya, it was the first day in preschool in a very big international school. The child went to school. When she came back, this is the first day in school, she was profusely crying. She was crying and crying. Then the mother looked down and saw the child was bleeding. Immediately the mother took the baby to the hospital, to the pediatrician, and the pediatrician said, some blunt object, maybe the fist of a person, was inserted inside the vagina of the child. I'm talking about two things: sex crime and sex trafficking. Both are interlinked because both come from this irresistible libido of men who think a 3-year-old baby is also somebody they have to fulfill their libido with. When we talk about sex crime, we're talking about every 22 minutes a woman or child is raped in our country. Navjeevan's children very beautifully showed different forms of violence that women face. But if you look at sexual violence, we're talking about eve teasing, molestation, rape, gang rape, acid attacks. We're also looking at 25% of them being children. Very horrifying from the state that I come from, Telangana. Just 80 kilometers away from Hyderabad is another district called Warangal, where a 9-month baby was raped. That is the age of human beings that we are talking about. And why I am giving this intercorrelated factor is, my fear is in a few years I will see a 9-month baby also in a brothel. If the 9-month baby is getting raped outside, it will not be very soon, very far, when we will see a 9-month baby in a brothel too. And why we need to reflect, why we need to get more inspired to do this work is to understand how big the problem is. From 1973, there is an 873% increase in sexual violence. When we talk about sex crime, now I am talking about sex crime for commercial purposes. I give money to rape a person. I give money to go and have sex with a person, maybe 3-year-old, maybe 5-year-old, maybe 10-year-old. That is the world of sex trafficking. It is not a moral crime. It's a criminal enterprise, and the 3rd largest criminal enterprise in the world after drugs and arms. So we are not talking about some moral aberration. We're talking about human beings like you and me, who are sitting and conspiring, oh, oh, there is a vulnerable person there is a vulnerable child there, I will pick the child up, I will pick that woman up, I will pick that girl up. They're actually conspiring because they believe with that human body they will create a lot of revenue. What is the numbers that we are talking about? Just India, the official reported numbers is 3 million. This is a reported numbers, and believe me, as an activist doing the kind of work that I've done for the last 25 years, any reported number, there is at least 100 which is not reported. Hardly these cases get reported. So reported number is 3 million, and of the 3 million we're talking about 45% children. The youngest child that I've had the misfortune of rescuing from a brothel is 3-year-old who has been put in hardcore prostitution. That is the age that we are talking about when we talk about 45% of children. And as I said, this is a criminal enterprise. It is graded to be an $858 billion industry. That means there's a lot of money involved. There are people with money who are raising a lot of revenue out of this whole industry. But please understand also something. Human trafficking, when we use the word human trafficking, unfortunately we only talk about sex trafficking. But please understand, human trafficking does not happen only for sexual exploitation. Human trafficking happens for various purposes. One of the purposes is prostitution. Children as young as 1 day, 2 days, 3 days are bought for 500 rupees, sold for 20 lakh rupees in the name of adoption. Human trafficking happens in the name of adoption for organ trade. One of the biggest scandals that happened in Andhra Telangana way back in 2002 was this huge number of so-called orphanages, children's homes who were involved in a massive racket of baby selling. What was the modus operandi? There are communities in Andhra which do not respect girl children, who think the birth of a girl child is a big burden to the world, and therefore as soon as a girl child is born, child is killed. So the modus operandi of the traffickers was to go to these villages, spot pregnant women, give the pregnant woman 500 rupees and say, if the baby is born, don't kill the child. If it's a girl child, give the child to us. If it's a male child, keep the boy, keep the money. Hundreds and thousands of infant babies were born for 500 rupees like that. Very interestingly, what was the face of the trafficker? Face of the trafficker was charity workers, missionary organizations, orphanages. And why I'm giving you this example is just to tell you traffickers could be in any shape. In Andhra again, we had the unfortunate experience of an associate professor in the university who was convicted for 10 years for sex trafficking the girls from her own class. So the trafficker's face could be a teacher too, a doctor too, an engineer too. Anybody could be a trafficker. They don't need to be looking like a criminal, like a rowdy or a gunda. When this racket broke loose, I was unfortunately part, and I keep saying unfortunately because I really feel that I am unfortunately made to see all these horrible things. I wish I was not seeing it. I would at least sleep in peace. I'm not unable to sleep in peace because I'm forced to go and see all these harsh realities directly. I was part of the fact-finding committee, and we were sitting in this place where this organization was accused of child trafficking. When the police went behind the backyard and started digging, they found dead bodies of babies. And when forensic experts got into the picture, they found the retina, the cornea, kidneys of the babies missing. And that brought to light another form of trafficking for organ trade, organ harvesting. I understand a whole lot of girls from Nepal are brought to Bombay here only for skin grafting. Skin grafting has become one of the biggest form of organ trafficking here in South Asia. Similarly, hundreds and thousands of children and women are trafficked for labor servitude, for bonded labor. And one of my earliest examples where I felt very, very shaken when we went for a rescue of little children in a bangle factory. They wear these glass bangles. I don't know how many of you reflect on where these bangles come from and who makes these bangles. So you can see me, my height is around 4 feet 6 inches. So when I went inside this place, there were cubicles which was coming up till my waist. It was around 3 feet. Inside those cubicles, 1 feet by 1 feet cubicles, they had little children crouched like this in glass burner processing the glass. Great difficulty, we pulled out these children, came outside. I remember at that time, many years back, my office was like a courtyard. There was this office and there was this front space available. So all these children were rescued and brought to my office. For some unknown reason, the children wouldn't come inside. No matter how much you would tell them, they would not come inside. After around 45 minutes of cajoling and catching their feet and everything, I finally came out and I asked, "Beta, why are you not coming inside?" And the 6-year-old something, some small little character, looked at me and said, "Auntie, हम लोगों ने सूरज नहीं देखा है बहुत सारे दिन। हमने सूरज नहीं देखा है." Can you imagine the kind of slavery we are talking about? People who have not seen daylight, light of the day for months together. And we talk about slavery, and we talk about slavery-like conditions. And human trafficking is considered as a modern-day form of slavery. You're looking at human beings who are kept in substandard human conditions. Hundreds and thousands of children are taken for domestic servitude, to work in mines, bricklins, bangle industry. Children are taken from India abroad to Gulf countries as camel jockeys. I don't know whether you have seen a horse race in your life. Where does the jockey sit? Where does the jockey sit in a horse race? On top of the horse? Yeah. So in a camel race, the jockey does not sit on top of the camel. The jockey is tied to the leg of the camel. So obviously somebody who's 60 or 70 kilos like you or me who's 48 kilos, we are totally unsuitable to be tied to the leg of the camel. So what is preferred is a 3-year-old or a 4-year-old or a 5-year-old baby. So when the baby is tied to the leg of the camel, obviously the baby is not going to say, "Wow, good, thank you so much for tying me to the leg of the camel." The child is going to cry. When the child cries, the camel moves. And when the camel moves, the body shakes, the camel getting higher, there is a lot of shuffle, the child cries louder, the camel moves faster. That's how camel races happen. Hundreds and thousands of children from Bihar, Jharkhand and several parts of our country, Bangladesh, Pakistan, are taken for camel jockeying. And that's a national sport in another part of the world. But among all these forms of trafficking, I would be speaking on sex trafficking. Maybe I'm biased because I work on that issue, but I consider that as one of the worst forms of human rights violation. Primarily because in other forms of trafficking, like labor trafficking, you can identify a victim. When a child is pulled out of a bricklin or a mining factory and the child is told, said, "Are you being exploited?" The child will say, "Yes, I'm exploited, please remove me." The child will come with a lot of gratitude towards you. But in sex trafficking, you face a very peculiar situation. You face a peculiar situation where the victim does not accept that she is a victim. The victim gets used to being exploited. So the kind of things that you might face when you go inside a brothel for a rescue is the victim actually taking her slippers and throwing at you and telling you, "Please don't come near me, I don't want you." Or a 12-year-old child telling you, "It's my body, I can do what I want." How does this happen? How does this degradation of the body, mind and soul happen? Sex trafficking perhaps is the worst form of human rights violation because it kills the person completely. And that is why I will focus completely on sex trafficking, and Navjeevan also works closer to sex trafficking. So I will focus my entire presentation only on sex trafficking, but also to make you understand that that's not the only form of trafficking that happens in India. Somebody told, as a part of my introduction, that I was a victim of trafficking myself. Just want to correct you, I was not a victim of trafficking. I was a victim of gang rape. I was raped by 8 men. And one of the the things that I went through as a person who survived gang rape at the age of 15 was the absolute ostracization, stigma and exclusion that the world put me through for a crime that I never committed. 8 men had raped me, but I had the entire world blaming me for the crime that had happened to me. I had the whole world looking at me from the eyes of a criminal as an offender. And one of the things that I would like to do with you all right now, the next few minutes perhaps, is to give you an understanding on what is this world of victimhood. Because I understand, as a survivor myself, how easily it is to judge a person from this world of sex trafficking. If you are a rape victim, you are judged. People don't let you they don't allow you to recover at all. For years together, my parents were blamed for all the extra freedom that I got. There were even people who believed that I deserved what I got because I am a characterless and moralless person. But just imagine if it's a sex trafficked person. You brand her, you label her, not only for this generation but all the generations to come. Randi hai, Chinal hai, every kind of name. I want you to understand what they go through. Why they behave the way they behave. Because yes, there is something about their behavior that makes us form these judgments. But we need to understand why they behave like that. Where does their journey start? Their journey starts definitely from an optionless background. And when we talk about optionlessness, please understand it is not just poverty as of economic poverty. It is also the poverty of the mind that causes optionless. You could be economically completely advantaged, yet if you're emotionally feeling very, very devoid, deficit, vacuum, that also can make you very, very optionless. My facials, my designer wear clothes, my that, my this because my obsession, that also is an optionless. And in that option, and why I'm saying this is so easy for us to say that only the poor are getting trafficked. Please understand and understand it correctly. Not just the poor, anybody can get trafficked. Anybody who's emotionally vulnerable can get trafficked. And if you have a mobile phone, thanks to technology, each one of the girl children sitting here are equally vulnerable to be trafficked. A few months back, I had to deal with a very, very strange case. A very senior officer in the government, his 13-year-old daughter. She made friends with somebody on the Facebook. Both her parents work. Father is a senior officer, nobody to talk to her, things like that. So she makes friends with this older woman on Facebook. It's an older woman. The profile picture is of a woman. She becomes very close friends with this person. They are chatting. This girl is just 13 years old. And she tells this older woman very sweetly and nicely that, I feel very bad about my body. My breast is very small. So all my classmates make fun of me. I don't know how I want to go to school now. So this lady says, don't worry. No problem at all. Just put on your webcam. Remove your clothes. I will teach you exercises to enhance breast size. For the next 6 weeks, this older woman is teaching this girl different exercises on the webcam, making her masturbate and do all kinds of things. How does this story come out? 6th week, end of 6th week, one of her cousins who browses porn sites found his cousin's porn video on the porn site of his own sister who was masturbating. For 6 weeks, this girl was getting sexually exploited without even anybody touching her, without even anybody, coming physically near her. Virtually, she was getting exploited and sexually exploited for commercial purposes, and her videos were being fed into a porn site. She didn't even come to know about it. Cyber trafficking has become a great equalizer today, and each one of you who have a mobile phone are equally vulnerable to be trafficked, especially young women and young girls, if you don't know what is online safety. If you don't know what is mobile safety, each one of us is trafficked. So when you're sitting here, you're not sitting here for some children in Navjeevan. You're sitting here because you are parents, you are adults, you have near and dear ones who are young and who are vulnerable. We are sitting here for our own safety to listen to what is human trafficking. Today, the vulnerability of any human being, and that we need to understand, because so long as we think the problem is there, the problem is not going to get sorted out. The moment we understand we are also equally in danger to be a part of that problem, that is when we start thinking of responding. In that vulnerable situation, it is so easy to deceive somebody. It is so easy to manipulate somebody. It's so easy to groom somebody. Today there is no kidnap and all that's happening. In India, most part of India, there is nobody who's getting kidnapped. Nobody who's going to be forcibly pulled out and taken. It's a whole lot of psychological manipulation. And so beautiful is the psychological manipulation that in a train or in a flight, you will be sitting next to a trafficked person. You will not even know that the person is getting trafficked because the person is looking happy again. She feels that she's fine. If somebody who's known to her, somebody who she trusts is coming with her and taking her for a job, marriage, love, film roles, modeling, you name it. I have the misfortune, again I use the word misfortune, of even rescuing an MBA graduate from a brothel who was sold by her boyfriend. But most girls, till they reach the destination, they don't realize what they've gone through. They think, they believe, and they are convinced that there is a better life. All their aspirations are going to come true. The better life that they envisage in terms of a new life, new beginning for them is going to happen there. It's only when they reach the destination that they realize that there is something amiss. It's only when you reach there, you realize that there's no job here, there's no marriage here, there's no boyfriend here, there's no modeling here, there's no film role here, you have to sleep with 40 men a day. Gram Road you go, in Kamatipura you go, it's targets. Every day you have to sleep with this many number of men, only then the organizers and traffickers and pimps are satisfied because that's the way they get revenue. I have removed with the police 22,500 women and children out of prostitution. I am yet to find even one person, one child, one girl who told me first time when they said sleep with 10 men, I said okay, take away. If not this, I will do that. Invariably and inevitably, each of the girls will resist. I will not do this. More you resist, more pressure is put on you to break you, to indoctrinate you. This young girl who resisted too much, they just threw acid on her face. Say, what do you think you're something Uttama? This young girl was murdered inside a brothel. She was brought in from Bangladesh. And this picture was taken by another girl. After the rescue, we found it in her mobile phone. This girl was murdered for saying too much of me. All the girls don't go through such dramatic events. Stories, वो लड़की आई थी, इसके साथ हमने वो किया, इसके साथ हमने वो किया. Just the stories can keep you intimidated. One particular girl who was sold in red light area in Budwarpet in Pune told us that they took a blade, a thin razor blade, and they cut it on the sides here. Then she said, no, stop, I will do what you want. Another girl who was sold in Banda red light area in Goa told us that she was kept in a room with a snake for 8 days. Till she said, okay, I will do what you want. I can tell you thousands of stories of how girls are. And as I told you, many times these stories are the stories that is told to the new entrants. We did this and we did this good thing. Out of fear, You don't know you can come out of this place. The girls will say yes. But when they say yes, they think this particular torture will end. They don't realize that they are saying yes to a lifetime of torture, because what is sex trafficking? Sex trafficking is multiple exploitation. There are 5 or 6 people living on your body. For these 5 or 6 people, if you say, I want to have sex with one man, and whatever money comes, that is the only revenue I have, not enough. You have to sleep with as many number of people as possible. Only then the revenue comes. What is the profile of the men who come to you? Are these men who want to be accountable to you? Are these men who want to next day morning look at your face and say, oh dear, do you want to have a cup of tea or coffee? No. These are men who are buying your body for 1 hour, 1 night, that's all. So they think they will do anything with this body. Each of the girls that we have rescued have told us horrendous stories of 1 or 2 customers who will put chili powder in their vagina, or take a blade and cut them, or take a cigarette and burn them, or take a belt and pelt them out. We ask them, why do you allow all this to happen? And all that they say, they're giving us the money, right? So they indoctrinated to believe, if a man is paying for your body, whatever he asks, whatever he will do, you have to allow it to happen. That is the world of exploitation we are talking about. And very, very unfortunately, hardly 7% get ever rescued. Do they get a lot of money? We think this is easy money, right? All these girls are doing it because it is lucrative, shortcut money, because they are so used to getting easy money. How easy it is? I really don't know. Many of you are married here. How easy it is to have 15 times, 20 times sex a day. For weeks together, months together, years together. I really don't know. Just imagine that world. A girl is brought from Hyderabad to Mumbai here. 40 times a day she is raped. How easy is that? Every other day she has to go for an abortion. How easy is that? Is it very lucrative? Yes, it is very lucrative. But for whom? For the pimps, for the brokers, for the traffickers, for the organizers, for the brothel keepers. For them it is very lucrative. What does a girl get? The girl gets a whole lot of other bonuses. She gets sexually transmitted infections, she gets cervical damages, she gets reproductive tract infections, she gets all kinds of infections including HIV/AIDS. And I understand, in India we have a peculiar problem of men who want to bang the head of the girl onto the bedpost or to the wall while having sex. So in India you see a huge prevalence of traumatic brain injuries, TBI, among these women. Head is hit again and again to the wall, which hurts the brain. That is the bonus they get. So what happens to this person? Day 1, I'm locked into this place. I want to get out. I try my bit to get out. Day 2 also I try. Day 3 also I try. In 3 days already 80 men have raped me. All our perception, your perception, my perception is the honor of a girl is located on her vagina. So already on day 1 she's decided and declared that her honor is lost. After getting raped 18 times, she has no concept of any dignity or honor left in her body. She thinks she is khatam. She is completely wiped out. She thinks, if I go out also, there is no way out for me. My family will not accept me. My community will not accept me. Government of Maharashtra does not even have a rehabilitation package. Even if a woman wants to legally come out, there is not even a rehabilitation package. Leave alone government of Maharashtra, no other governments other than Andhra and Telangana government actually have a package, economic package available for women to exit from these places. So what does she think? This is my destiny. This is my destiny to get raped every day and being exploited every day. And therefore, what does she do? She starts normalizing the experience of getting exploited. She starts surviving in that exploitation. Once she settles down to a certain pattern, the traffickers are all happy. They feel very comfortable. They feel at peace that this woman will not, there is no need of a bouncer, there is no need of a gunda to look after her. You just need to lift your eyes or lift your eyebrows, you can stand or sit, whichever way you want. Once they are very, very confident about her, they will let her loose. In Bombay. So Lakshmi, who was a victim at one point of time, now takes these two girls and hands them over to a brothel keeper. After a few days, she thinks, why am I giving it to her? I may as well become the brothel keeper myself and I can take the entire part. The point for reflection at this moment is, who is responsible for Lakshmi to become a perpetrator of crime? Just because we didn't rescue her on time, just because we couldn't rehabilitate her, she was stuck in that slavery-like condition to become a perpetrator of slavery. I want you all to reflect on that point, because somewhere I need you all to understand that all of us, in our silence, in our inaction, are perpetuating a crime. We are part of this problem, and there is a need for us to now start thinking whether we want to become solution to this problem. And I want you all, as you reflect on this, to look at this girl for a moment. This picture was taken just 15 minutes before this girl died. She was 13 when she was sold by her brother-in-law, her sister's husband. She was sold in Budhwarpet, Red Light area, Pune. Then she was resold. Finally, she was thrown in Bhiwandi, from where I personally rescued this child at the age of 16. So she was in prostitution for 3 years. When we found her, when we rescued her, she already had 8 abortions. She was already infected with several infections, including HIV/AIDS. At the age of 19, she was a full-blown AIDS patient. Just half an hour before she died, she told the doctors, it's like for us as an organization, we don't allow anybody to die in our premises. We ensure that when we know that the person is going to die, the person is shifted to the hospital. Because there are close to 600 residents in our shelter. We don't want death to be a demotivating factor. And on a principle, I usually don't meet people before they die. I don't. Because after they die, I'm the one who's cremating a dead body, and I'm one of the very few women to cremate a body. I'm sure you all know that in Hindu practices, women are not allowed to cremate a dead body, but I'm one of the very few women in Hyderabad who actually cremates dead bodies, and I find it emotionally very disturbing to meet a person before they die and listen to their last minute, things. So I actually told the doctors that I don't want to come. Please don't compel me to come. The doctors were very, very, very insistent, and they said, please come. She is very, very insistent that you have to meet her once. So I went to the hospital, and when I reached her, the first thing she said is, Madam, mera photo location. I took this picture on my mobile phone. Not a photogenic face. This is not a time to take a picture. She's on a hospital stretcher, I took the picture. And then I asked her, I said, Beta, why did you ask me to take this picture? And she said, Madam, you give speeches everywhere. You give lectures to all over the world. Please show my picture wherever you go. Please show the world what is the damages of prostitution so that no girl has a fate like mine. This girl is my greatest inspiration. I really don't know how many of us who are very privileged, who are very blessed, how many of us will have the generosity of the Spirit when we are going down the grave to think that our life should be a message to somebody. This human being has no reason to feeling any gratitude to anybody. This human being has been betrayed by her own family, excluded, stigmatized, ostracized by the entire world. Yet, she has the generosity of the Spirit to say that my life should be a message to other girls. As a tribute to her life, she's my greatest hero. I tell her story in every presentation that I make, and I hope she inspires you as much as she inspires me every day in my life. It is in this world of slavery that I work in every day in my life, and it's in this world that my work begins. I do very similar work like Navjeevan does, but a little more expanded. We also provide education to children of women in prostitution, but not as a residential center, but as schools, learning centers. We've removed around 10,500 children out of different places of sexual exploitation and provided them education. So prevention is a very, very big part of our work. We are one of the very few organizations which do complete 360 degrees. We do prevention, rescue, rehabilitation, and everything. But our also intervention is with communities. We go to the villages, we go to schools, we go to colleges. We sensitize people on the dangers of human trafficking, which is what I'm doing right now. But we do that on a day-to-day basis as a program thing. So close to 18 million people have been sensitized directly through our interventions. One of our very, very important programs that we have done, and this side of my hall, that is the right side of my hall, is what I will appeal and request each of the wonderful men sitting here to join this movement. We've started this unique movement called as Men Against Demand. A movement of real men who believe that women and child's body is not for sale. Woman's body is not a sex object for sale. Such real men have come together and formed this great, unique movement called Men Against Demand. Close to 100,000 men are already part of this movement, and I hope each of these wonderful men in this August gathering also will find the heart to join such a movement. But engaging with men and boys is one of our biggest prevention programs that we do. Also, we have been pioneering survivors as leaders of movement. So Swarasha was one movement that we started, which is led by survivors. It's a caravan that we did where 132 million people were targeted, completely led by survivors. We also use, as was introduced, I'm a film producer, I make feature films. I don't make just documentaries and short films, but I make feature films which go to the theatres for films like Mardani and others. We were technical advisors, we gave our inputs to make those kind of feature films on sex trafficking. But using visual media is a big part of our thing. But our claim to fame is our rescue work. We work very close with the police to rescue girls from prostitution. But please understand, rescue is the easiest of all the work. It's just a 2 minutes exercise in my opinion. Hardly it takes 3 or 4 days of work, little bit of brain. If you have some amount of courage, guts and gumption, and a little bit of criminal thinking, you can do a rescue. That's the easiest of the tasks. But what is more difficult is rehabilitation. We have been able to establish one of the biggest rehabilitation homes in the world, which can take care of 1,200 victims at any given point in time. So this is the difficult part. While rescue takes a week like this to do, rehabilitation is not that easy and it's not very successful. As I told you, we've rescued around 22,500 women and children, but we've not been successful with all of them. Around 18,500 is the only numbers that we can track and say, yes, successful. More than 2,000 of them, we don't know what has happened, whether they have gone back to the same situation. So these are our shelter homes that we have, which is taking care of thousands of victims at any given point of time. We do a lot of reintegration. We teach girls welding, carpentry, they run printing presses. Somebody asked me how many children I have. I can't even tell you how many children I have, too many. But I can definitely tell you how many grandchildren I have. I have around 285 grandchildren. I don't think any of you all have that many grandchildren. But I'm a grandmother to close to 285 children because we get our girls married too. And one of the ways of reintegration is marriage. These are some of the marriages that we have. So what has been the way that we have worked, and I hope just sharing the lessons learned from our life. We've been able to harness the pain as as a huge source of power. Each girl who has been sex trafficked has been raped million times over. But in all that pain that she has gone through, she's got a volcano of power inside her. So what do? We let her harness that power, put it in a direction that can change her, heal her, help her gain herself. These are girls running their own printing presses, welding unit, furniture units. And they are made to not only live with dignity, but also live with rejection. I speak, I talk. Doesn't mean that your attitudes have changed about these women. How many of you all are willing to accept this girl as your daughter-in-law or as your daughter? That's where all our minds get blocked. And so one of our major things that we do is help them also work with rejection. We tell them when you go out, don't think everybody is opening their arms wide open to welcome you back. People will reject you, shame you, ostracize you. You should know how to live with and live with dignity there. The answer is not going back to the same situation of slavery. Answer is in standing there and proving that you can actually survive in spite of rejection. This is what we have done. Navjeevan has done 25 years of work. I stand before you not just because I've come here to give a speech, but I also have an agenda to come here. Agenda to request your support for the movement. And all that I request of you is three things. Can you break your silence on this issue? And when I say break your silence, it does not mean have a seminar or a conference on the issue of sex trafficking or human trafficking. What I mean by breaking your silence is breaking your silence of your soul, breaking the silence inside you. When a father touches his daughter inappropriately, when a brother touches his sister inappropriately, when somebody known to you, somebody trusts you, touches you inappropriately, and you choose to remain silent in the name of honor, in the name of prestige, in the name of family, please understand, in your silence, you're perpetuating, enabling environment for criminals to flourish. Because they think, I can do this with somebody I know and I can get away with it, and therefore I can do it with anybody outside. Can we break that silence inside us? Can we break the passivity inside us? All of us are very busy. All of us are very busy lives. We have all kinds of commitments, responsibilities, and I can tell you 1,000 reasons why you should not respond. Because you have 20,000 reasons for not doing anything. All that I appeal to you is please find that one way that you can respond. Can you at least talk to your children? If today a 3-year-old child is in a brothel getting sold for 10,000 rupees, 15,000 rupees, the buyer is a man. Who is this man? He's not coming from planet Venus or planet Mars. He's our son, our brother, somebody within our own families. Can we talk to our sons? Can we bring up our daughters and sons differently? Can we at least respond that way? Can we tell our sons that girl's body, woman's body is not a sex object to be bought and sold? Can we at least educate that? Can we do that? Is that difficult to do? Can we find one way to respond, to make one demand less in our society? There are 100 other ways that you can respond. You can respond, nothing else, support defenders like us. Navjeevan Centre, who's doing such a thankless job, support that with your whole heart. That is one way of responding. Let not today be just a day of listening to a wonderful speech and giving a nice clap. Let today be a pledge that henceforth, every day I am going to take 1 rupee out of my daily wages or daily salary for Navjeevan Centre and say, this is my commitment for ending this crime. Can we do that at least? Is that difficult? Is it difficult for us to offer prayers every day for all the crusaders across the world? You have no clue the world we live in. There have been 17 attacks on my life. And all that I ask of you every day in my life is please pray for me. Is it difficult to offer prayer for all the anti-trafficking crusaders who are doing this mad job across the world? Can we do that? Please find ways to respond. But much more importantly, please break the culture of tolerance. Somehow, it breaks me. It kills me. Today, even if you say a 9-month baby is raped, for us, oh my God, that's all. It's a story. Newspaper, we may not even want to read the newspaper. Oh, newspaper is filled with such bad news. 5 centimeters of our land, somebody takes away, we will go, the country is awakening, society is awakening. Now there are people who are not going to be tolerating this. They will act, they will react. Can we give that sense of fear in perpetrators? Can we break a culture of tolerance? We need to find a way to respond. I don't know what. Each one of us have to find our own ways to respond, because no child, no woman, no human being deserves what these children have gone through. I hope, I say this everywhere, the crime of human trafficking is an organized crime. They are so well organized. We somehow, the good of the world, we are so disorganized. They are 20 steps ahead of us. We are still somewhere behind. Can we become a collective, united force to end the sex slavery? Because if half the humanity is not safe, the world can never be a safe place for anyone. Thank you so much.
ഹൃദയഭൂതമായ അനുഭവങ്ങൾ വേണം പങ്കുവച്ചപ്പോൾ നനയാത്ത കണ്ണുകളില്ല, തുടിക്കാത്ത ഹൃദയങ്ങളില്ല. വേണം നമ്മുടെ മുമ്പിൽ വെച്ച മാർഗങ്ങൾ പലതും നമുക്ക് സ്വീകരിക്കാവുന്നതാണ്. വളരെ നന്ദി മാഡം. നവജീവന്റെ എല്ലാ പ്രവർത്തനങ്ങളോടും ചേർന്ന് കിടക്കുന്ന ഒരു വ്യക്തിത്വമാണ് ഡോക്ടർ ജോളി ജെയിംസ്. നവജീവൻ സെന്ററിന്റെ പ്രോജക്ട് കൺസൾട്ടന്റ് കം കോർഡിനേറ്ററായി പ്രവർത്തിക്കുന്ന മിസസ് ജോളി ജെയിംസ് നിർമ്മല നികേതൻ ഇൻസ്റ്റിറ്റ്യൂട്ട് ഓഫ് സോഷ്യൽ സയൻസിന്റെ ഫാക്കൽറ്റി അംഗമായിരുന്നു. ചുമതലയിലെ പ്രവർത്തനങ്ങൾ മാത്രമല്ല, മറ്റ് സാമൂഹിക സംഘടനകളോടും കോർപ്പറേറ്റുകളോടും ബന്ധപ്പെട്ട് നവജീവൻ സെന്ററിന്റെ ആവശ്യങ്ങൾ നേടിയെടുക്കുന്നതിൽ ശ്രീമതി ഡോളി സ്തുത്യർഹമായ സേവനം അനുഷ്ഠിക്കുന്നു. നവജീവൻ സെന്ററിന്റെ ഹൃദയമിടിപ്പുകൾ തൊട്ടറിയുന്ന മിസസ് ജോളി ജെയിംസിന് നമ്മോട് എന്താണ് പറയാനുള്ളത് എന്ന് കേൾക്കാം.
Right Reverend Dr. Mar Thoma Church, Dr. Sunitha Krishnan, distinguished clergy members, and my dear parishioners. I think after Dr. Krishnan's talk, I am almost wanting to say, I don't want to say anything more, but leave with the message that Dr. Krishnan has given us. I actually traveled 15 years back of my work in Navjeevan, and the traumatized situation that we face every day came back live to me every single moment of it. When I stand here in my 15 years of work, one Bible verse which I hold very close to me is 1 Corinthians chapter 3 verse 7, which says, it doesn't matter who planted it or who watered it, it's the Almighty Father who makes it grow. And today I am a witness to God's immense blessings on the work of Navjeevan, especially in the red light area. There has been situations when I thought this is going to collapse. We won't have a solution to this problem. But believe me, every single time, God has shown us the way to go ahead. Our work has been very minimal. And here, I would like to focus only on the work in the red light area because our residential home program is well known to the community in large. But the work in the red light area is very slow. It is not some instant fixes. process where you go, you do something and you have statistics to say, in this month I rescued 5 or in this month I reached out to 10. It just doesn't happen that way. And I think Sunitha ma'am has very clearly explained to us the process. I will just give you an example of one case. There was this lady who was from a diamond merchant's family. She fell in love with a boy of a very low caste, eloped with him, got married at the age of 16. The first few years of marriage was beautiful. She had 2 children, and then the suspicion set in. Her husband was suspicious of her, wouldn't allow her to go out anywhere, and then they came to Mumbai in search of work. In Mumbai, he was an alcoholic, drug addict. He borrowed 50,000 rupees for his personal need and disappeared one fine day, leaving his wife and the 2 children in the area. The best possible person to be taken for trafficking. The person who had loaned the money insisted that he wanted the money within that month. And then he himself introduced her that this is the way you can earn the money. So she had to pay 50,000 back. She had 2 children, 1 girl and a boy. And that moneylender said, I will keep the boy as surety with me. You go and dump this girl wherever you want, and then you will go on a contract till you give me, return the 50,000 rupees back to me. She found out from amongst and got to know of Navjeevan. That's how she came to us. And when we were talking to her over a period of time, where for 2 to 3 to 4 hours, she said, no, I just want to leave my daughter, not my son. So we said, why are you not leaving your son with us here? That's when she told the story. What I'm trying to say here is, for mere 50,000 rupees, a lady would have been sold into the trade if we as an organization do not get up and become active there itself. If we do not have time to have a discussion, to have a dialogue, to have a committee, to discuss and see, can we raise the 50,000 to rescue the women? Our director at that point was somebody who understood this when I said, Father, we need to raise 50,000 now, or I will get it through my friends. We managed to raise the 50,000, so I told her, we will pay the 50,000, you give it to the money lender, but you do not give money for free. You will work at our center as our caretaker for a period of 2 years until you repay the money, and then you will be free to live with your children. She agreed to that. 50,000 rupees we paid. We let the money lender go. She worked with us for 2 years. In the meantime, we tried to establish relationship with her family to tell her that, because, like ma'am said, the first thing is, you have lost your so-called virginity or lost your dignity. You cannot come back home. This is the story of every single woman who stared at a child in the red light area. The people whom you consider your own are the ones who disown you first. The first and the foremost is they will be the ones who disown you. So when you are disowned from there, where did the woman go? Where is the place for her to go? That is the difficulty that takes place. But for every single woman that you have saved, there will be thousands who fall into the trap. And we are not able to reach out to them. All that you see in the Kamatipura or the red light area are women all above 18 who has gone through all the struggles, who has reached that stage where man said will not run away. They are almost that level of incapacitation they reach where to run away, to which family to run away, to which city to run away, to which organization to run away. Because organizations also come with tags, with criteria of situations, which is absolutely so deep. We say, if you fit into this one category, we can take care of you. I am always faced with the question of, should a brothel owner get help? Should a trafficked victim get help? Should a child of a pimp get help? Every single child requires help, whether it's a pimp, whether it's a brothel keeper, or whether it's a woman who is trafficked. Every single one needs that support, because the exploited becomes the exploiter in the situation. And it's not done with an effort, with a process of knowingly doing it. This is the way of life. That is how it is seen. Now, I will not talk of the issues of trafficking, but ma'am has covered that. But I am here to talk about the little that Navjeevan has been able to do in the process in the area of the red light area. When you talk of rehabilitation, Rehabilitation is a very complex phenomenon. It is not something of giving them a job or giving them a place to stay. It is about dealing with their physical, emotional, psychological trauma along with economic assistance to move out. Two things that prevent women from moving out is housing, and second is alternate employment. They don't have either of the two, and it's difficult to move out from the area because of that. Navjeevan's focus or mission is dignity, respect and empathy for women. Every single one who walks in. The kind of trouble that they have. Sometimes when the brothel is overcrowded and suppose a woman is menstruating and she doesn't want to solicit, she has no place to sleep or even to sit. Every single bed is occupied. It is a business location. Sometimes women come to us and say, Didi, थोड़ी देर सो जाओ यहाँ पे. Go. Didi, थोड़ा सा खाना मिलेगा. None of them know cooking. They cannot cook in the brothels. Recently, one of our mother, who was trafficked at the age of 11 or 12, she had a son when she was in the brothel. Her son is now studying for graduation. That means she's been in the trade for almost 15 to 20 years. Her net saving, 1 lakh rupees. And the whole thing that is being told to her, whereas these women earn in a month more than 1 lakh rupees for the pimp and the brothel keepers. She doesn't know reading or writing. She doesn't know how to count. She's cheated right through in the life. She comes to me saying, Didi, मेरे पास 1 लाख रुपया मुझे घर लेके दो. And every time I should tell her, why don't you move out? You know, there is something that you can have. But it is an entire brainwashing system that takes place in the system that they will tell yes to you. But the moment they go back there, they are again pulled sucked into the entire system. So now after a lot of I said, see, next year son is graduating, so where will he stay? Should I send him where you are? No, Didi. I said, where will he stay? That's how that motivated her to come out. Why I'm saying this is, this lady does not know even to light a gas stove. She does not know how to prepare tea. She does not know cooking. She has never done physical labor in her life of any kind. 20 years in the trade. When she comes out, how do you rehabilitate her? How do you help her out? And along with that, a whole lot of superstitious beliefs which is there within. So when we have kept her in our center as our caretaker, and every day there are days when my team will get up and tell me, ma'am, we can't handle it anymore. I said, this is the vocation for which you are called. You need to spend time, help her to unlearn and unlearn what has been learned for 20 years of life. And then slowly help her to come to terms with what she has to do and start the process of rehabilitation. It is not at all an easy task. Like ma'am said, for every 15 who will come up, 5 we don't know where they are. Whether they have gone back to a trade. I would never like to count on a number of people rehabilitated because they may not be in the Mumbai red light area. For all you know, they may be in Hyderabad or in Pune or somewhere else. It's extremely difficult to know, to keep track on where these women are, but only those who wish to remain informed, because Navjeevan stands for certain kind of work. So to be associated with that, women who are married do not want to be associated, that is, we respect their choice. What we in Navjeevan believe is, women are here not because they have a choice. They are here because they do not have a choice. So when they don't have a choice for an alternative, what is it that you can give them? What is it that you can support them with? And their biggest concern was their children. And their children should be away from this, prevent a second generation being sucked into the same thing. We have seen grandmother, mother, daughter all standing for trade together. Because once you reach a stage of incapacitation of thinking, you think if I can do it, why not my child? If I am earning money, maybe she can earn this way. So why not my daughter-in-law? Why not my sister-in-law? So that feeling of, it is okay. That exploitation is reached to such a level that there is no feeling left in the end. It's more like a zombie kind of an interaction that takes place. Therefore, moving out becomes difficult. We always feel, after they have been But it's quite amazing. Most of them long for that love and that closeness. Invariably, they will find a partner in the red light area who will be a pimp or one of their customers. And those who has been a customer or a pimp, do you think they will treat them like queens? So the moment they marry, they are used to solicit and they earn. Last time from Bihar, a couple came. Husband was a businessman. He lost all his money in business. So now he has to recover the money. He bought his own legally wedded wife to Kamatipura to solicit. And they had a child. The child was a center. And he used to wait up and monitor her, and she would be soliciting customers. She has come and broken down in front of me and said, "Didi, ye mere se nahi hoga." But Pati Dev, the so-called Pati Dev, लेकिन मेरा धर्म कहता है मैं अपना पति का साथ दूं. I've met it because when we get married, whether the death or whatever does for a husband and wife for lifetime. This is what every religion teaches us. So मैं इस पति देव का साथ दूं या मैं इस काम में जुट जाऊं. It required a lot of counseling because you're breaking down the women from within and her child, for the child she was suffering. We called the man to discuss, but he was not willing to discuss, and legally we have nothing to take them to police or to court. Because as husband and wife, the wife will never say in the police station that I am being forced to do soliciting by my husband. Because that is the only source she has to go back to. So these kind of stories you find in the red light area, which comes every single day to us. How do we do rescue a very limited number of people, but it's highly confidential. It is not the brothel rescue, where we take the police and go into the brothel and rescue people and go, because if we do that, we will not be able to survive in Kamatipura at all. Either if we are seen as a children's organization in the entire red light area. Our work with women is highly confidential. We do not publish it anywhere. We do not even discuss it outside. We do not allow photographs of anyone to be published. And that is the faith the women has in us in the program that we do. The women, when they are wanting to be rescued, there has been many cases where we work out ways and means without anybody knowing, where they run off from the brothels, and through different methods of approach, we rescue them. We had a girl who was from Calcutta who had come to by her own mother-in-law. When I say mother-in-law, these boys will go to the village, marry somebody, bring them here, and then put them in for soliciting. I think Sunitha ma'am will remember 4 or 5 years ago for this girl, I had to call Sunitha ma'am because she was being sent for a contract to Hyderabad. And she told me, Didi, मेरे को escape करना है कैसे भी. You can't even give a number written down on a piece of paper. So I made her sit with me and learn my number by heart. Over and over and over, I told her, learn my number by heart. Do not write it down anywhere. I said, the moment you reach Hyderabad, when you get an opportunity, you give me a call. I will ensure I'll work out something with the people whom I know there, whether we can rescue. So I called Sunitha ma'am, I said, ma'am, this is the case. So she said, WhatsApp me, I may be in a meeting, but you WhatsApp me and I will make sure that we will make some arrangement. Unfortunately for the girl, when she went in all her anxieties and fears, she missed the number correctly. She couldn't recollect the number properly. She tried dialing it because I have given newspapers to people. They are strip searched. Before they go anywhere, every single girl is strip searched. Right across, including their vagina, they are strip searched to see whether they have a piece of paper or anything with them. So we cannot in any way rescue them by giving them documents or information. Just today morning, a mother called me. She's having trouble, and I told her in the marriage, I told her every single document WhatsApp it to me. Husband has gone somewhere outside. I said, WhatsApp today itself to me every single document of yours. I will save it for you. You do not carry any paper with you when you leave the house. He's being beaten up, abused. I said, I'm coming, can you come to the police station with me? She said, no madam, I will not come. I said, you think over it. I will come back to you when you have to think over it and take a solution. Because she has a son by that marriage. And the stepfather is abusing her first. The daughter was born from the first marriage. And the girl is willingly being abused by the stepfather. She is 19 years old now. So she is not agreeing to let go of that stepfather. So issues are very complicated. Solutions are not very simple in the process. Simple solutions have to be brought out case by case, individual by individual. Sometimes we succeed, most of the time we fail to reach out on time. And that is where we need to build our program. That is where we need to focus on and say, and that any opportunity that we get, we need to be able to take that opportunity, because that opportunity will not come after 5 minutes. That is my experience. If we don't take the opportunity at this moment, after 5 minutes, that opportunity will not be available for us. So number of women who have moved out, who's been out of trade, whose children have been saved. Yes, we can set a lot of success stories, but I am not here to share success stories at all. What I want to say is, like ma'am said, each one of you need to condemn prostitution as a trade, but never condemn a woman in prostitution because she is there not out of choice, but because she does not have a choice. This is the motto of Navjeevan. So when we look at women and the question that ma'am asked, our children who are now studying, we have engineers, we have doctors, we have nurses, we have graduates working in corporates. Will you give your boy or girl to them in marriage? Are we willing to say, yes, these are my children? I don't know tomorrow if my child tells me I want to marry somebody from this background, what my reaction would be. I don't know. It's very easy to talk, but very difficult to internalize it and to put it into practice. But like ma'am said, let's stop being fence sitters. Let's stop being fence sitters. Either you're part of the problem or you're part of the solution. Since we are not the part of the solution, we are definitely part of the problem. And another very human behavior is, until it's a problem, until it's not connected to us, it never affects us. It never affects us. When there is flood in Kerala, we all were moved to the poor. Why? Because our root is in Kerala. There is flood in Sholapur going on now. When the Shakti compound case came, or when Nirmaya case came, how many of us raised our issues or our voices on that? In Mumbai, a Malayali girl child was raped. The entire Malayali association took out a morcha. Whether it's a rape of a Malayali, or a Bengali, or from Japan, or from America, the pain is just the same. We need to feel the pain of every single child who goes through the trauma of being raped. We will not understand it because we have not gone through it. We can only visualize it. We can only visualize it. Like ma'am said, tomorrow it can be your child or my child. And what is it that we would want from society if it was from our child should be our response to every child who is caught in trafficking. Thank you so much.
നാം ഇന്ന് കേട്ട ഹൃദയഭേദകമായ അനുഭവങ്ങൾ നമ്മുടെ ഹൃദയത്തിൽ ചാലിച്ച മുറിവുകൾ ഒരിക്കലും ഉണർന്നാതിരിക്കട്ടെ. നാം ഇവിടെ കണ്ട മുഖങ്ങളിൽ കണ്ട വേദന നമ്മുടെ ഉറക്കം ഒരിക്കലും നമ്മളെ ഉറങ്ങാൻ സമ്മതിക്കാതിരിക്കട്ടെ. Let us be a part of the solution, not the part of the problem. We call upon now Reverend Goregoan Achin, Reverend Manu Abraham Achin, the directors of Navjeevan, who would be briefing us upon the intervention programs and other recommendations.
Respected Triveni, Dr. Sunitha, dear Achins, all dear believers, we come here together as part of the Navjeevan Silver Jubilee Celebrations. We have this seminar. We listen to people who are part of this great service of helping out women, helping out children who are not as privileged as we are to experience security in their ways of life, in the places that they live, in the opportunities of employment that they've given. And I stand here, I wish to speak just a few words about what we call the Navjeevan village. Dear Dolly, and she spoke about the work which happens at the red light areas. Dr. Sunitha gave us a glimpse of what her residential program looks like. Dear Jilwachan looks over the whole of the program and coordinates it for us. And I am at the Navjeevan village as the assistant director. me and all these staff who are with me. Now, what is it that we do? Now, all who have been associated with Navjeevan for the last 25 years, many people recently visited us for the gardening program, and as part of different organizations, you were there visiting us. You see, Christ said, unless you become like one of these, you cannot enter the kingdom of heaven. Christ pointed out to a child, probably pointed out to some children, and he spoke these words. Now, when we all reflect on Christ's words, we always think, why is it that a child has the qualification to be part of God's kingdom? And why do we need to be like the child? See, the innocence of a child is what we all basically believe makes that child worthy of being a part and parcel of the kingdom of God. Any child is innocent enough to believe that he has all the possibilities in the world to become anyone he wants. Any child, especially in Christian homes, who's made to believe that he's actually got divine possibilities, that he's got holy divine privileges to become whatever he wants to be according to the will of God. This is where, when I look at children who are part of the Navjeevan village, and I need to say that we have children from the classes of class 1, children from the age of studying in class 1 till class 10 in our village right now. So when I look at these children, I've been at Navjeevan only for 3 months now. I know these children as children whose innocence has been murdered. You see the places from where they come, the experience that they have been part of, the family background that they are very well aware of, their mothers, the place where their mothers live, what their mothers do, and what the children that we have at Mumbai Centre. So I said, we find them as children whose innocence has been murdered. And now when we look after these children, when we talk about educational opportunities for them, when we talk about giving them good residential facilities, we talk about giving them good spiritual nourishment, or giving them a safe habit for probably 10 to 12 to 15 years. Each one of us needs to understand that we are not that well equipped because we do not know what this child is going through. In my 3 months here, I clearly tell anyone whom I still find that I am still not adjusted to the place. I am still not adjusted to the ministry there. I am actually even not sure what I am supposed to be doing there. Because 119 children that we have there, we got 119 different experiences and 119 different excuses of not genuinely well with the program that we have there. All I am trying to say is, when we talk about Navjeevan Centre in its Jubilee year, all Mumbai Mar Thoma community members to be supporting Navjeevan for the last 25 years. When we talk about bringing these children to the mainline society, or mainstreaming them, the question needs to be asked, what is this mainline society? So when we come to Navjeevan, when we talk about these children, when we talk about development for these children, education for them, let us realize that these children are really special. They are not like our children in many ways, and yet as they deserve equal opportunities as any child in our Mar Thoma community, in our houses. When we talk about mainstreaming or getting them to the mainline society, in this 25th year of Navjeevan, we as Mar Thoma people who always know Navjeevan need to come to a level where we understand the pains and pangs of these children and their mothers. How can that be done? Many things were shared by Dr. Sunitha Krishnan. I'm not going into those things, but then this is Navjeevan Centre. This is our Navjeevan village. when you come to the Navjeevan village, let it not just be a picnic. Let it not be just because you are supporting us in any way. Let it not just be because you are donating something. And to understand the core of the things that is happening there. As I came to see that me, my staff members, we are not that qualified to handle what is happening there. To handle the children that we are bringing up. But then be part of this painful growth, be part of this effortful, this efforts that we are part of to give the best to these children. When we come there, you support us in different ways. We talk about money, we talk about different life. And we look at these children, let us be able to understand what they might be going through. And that is all that I want to share with you today. Supporting Navjeevan Centre, we have house parents looking after our children. That is not an easy task. That is something that we not anyone can easily take up. But then we have volunteers in Navjeevan Centre helping us in different ways. In our Navjeevan school, we have teachers helping us out. We have qualified social workers helping us with the needs of the children, especially helping us with the things that we need to coordinate with the government. Qualified people can come forward, help us with the documentation, give us your time, valuable time, and help us with the grey areas of our administration. We ask for people, qualified teachers to come and help us. When we talk about the Navjeevan village, it was giving this great vision that the village is self-sufficient. For years we've been having a tabela, but then that's quite big now, that's quite developed now. But then the recent times we spoke about the poultry farming, we talked about the fish pond, the fish culture, we've been speaking of education, sponsorship for children, we've been speaking of honeybee farming. All of these activities when they come in, we are doing this for the children. When we do this, again, I see development is necessary, but it is not at the cost of the ministry towards the children. We need to do this, being sensitive towards what is right for our children. So please participate with us in that way. All of the support that we will be receiving from the organizations, we appreciate that. We look forward to more of your help, more of your visits, more of your time. More of your valuable donations, for everything, your prayers and your special consideration for who we actually are at Navjeevan. These words I end with small cup and over to you.
Dr. Sunitha Krishnan, some of our members, former director of Goregoan Centre, also here, here is a great transfer. Around the United States, Maya, presentations, Mumbai Centre, after 25 years, in the Garden in Navjeevan Centre in Mumbai Silver Jubilee Celebrations. We had the center survey. It's a child care center, it's a family counseling center, it's one of the only one family counseling center in our areas of Mumbai. Under the socialists, the Department of Government Finance and Government of India. What we have there will be given. And another layer of development is knowledge and relays what we have heard about. Then next is extension house. Now that we are particular, our opens are here. They don't need to be an address or they stay with us, the extension centers, and they don't make the studies in there. All the students and help them, we want to participate with us. Thank you so much. This parish and Mumbai Centre are the former leaders of Navjeevan Centre. Parish Bishop is the president of Navjeevan Centre. One of the things of our concerns would be the director and assistant director. and the representatives from various parishes from the region comes to the general body. Each region, each centers will have a community executive member. There is a structure of Mumbai Centre. We are in the field of rescue, we are in the field of rehabilitation, we are in the field of education, we are in the field of addressing whatever right-minded issues of human being and especially self. Our primary focus is to ensure that everyone, especially mothers and children, have their rights. It's a right-based institution. Today, we are trying our best to make the world a better place. Is a ministry designed by the people of Nigeria. Navjeevan Centre Child Care Center is the program designed by these mothers of Nigeria. 1994, December 25th. നമ്മുടെ മുംബൈയിലെ ന്യൂസ് പോകാൻ വേണ്ടി സ്ഥലത്തേക്ക് പോവുകയും അവിടെ ആരോഗ്യമായ പ്രവർത്തനത്തോട് ഏറെ റെസ്പോണ്ടഡ് and they had confidence in us. Still, till today, we keep that confidence. We try our level best. അതുപോലെ Navjeevan Centre പ്രവർത്തനങ്ങളിൽ നിങ്ങളെല്ലാവരും almost എല്ലാവരും once at least Navjeevan village. It may not be possible to visit the area as a group. It will be possible to visit the area. At least you can come and visit the area and do what the purpose. Every month we have another meeting. We hear their cries. We try our members to respond. We take up the children, take up the mothers. Here is a person also in a center. He was the person. And I was going to go down here and go and say, you're very negative. But it was after I said, not in my way. So I was so sad that the Muslims were in love with boys. He was a assistant director of the center at that time. All of the community, he started to be the coming of this program. The time of the game, the use of game, again, the game after the Silver Jubilee Celebrations. ഓരോ കുഞ്ഞുങ്ങളും ഓരോ മോഹനും കാരണം ഓരോ പ്രാവശ്യവും നമ്മുടെ കാമത്തിൽ പ്രവേശിച്ച് ചെയ്ത ചടങ്ങുകൾ സ്വാഗതം പറ്റില്ല. ഓരോ കുഞ്ഞിന്റെയും കണ്ണിലെ കണ്ണുനീരും വേദനിക്കപ്പെടുന്ന അമ്മമാരുടെ വേദനകളും സംരക്ഷിക്കപ്പെടുവാനില്ലാത്തവരുടെ കണ്ണുനീരും പ്രിയപ്പെട്ടവരെ ഇത് ഓപ്പർച്യൂണിറ്റി അവരുടെ ഇത് participate. Eminent participate. It's good to pray. It's Mother Mary said that. It's prayer. Prayer to a pastor is yours sensitizing the kids and the family and making this under the heart. And really, that number of generous and appropriate. Share this. This is an issue. This is a challenge before us. Then you can solve it. Share your life in this ministry. Come and serve the children and mothers, not the Navjeevan Centre. But share your life. That means you can make yourself retired people. You can come and stay and make us and serve us. Various capacities. We need teachers, we need spouses, we need houses, and also we need strong, courageous activists that we really afraid of. I thought about initial stage, that was the month of April in the Navjeevan Centre. Later on, we gone into the institution, and now we have the fear of taking up the challenge as an activist. But many of our parishes, many of our church members are activists in children of faith. I salute them, and many of our leaders of Navjeevan Centre, they are all over the world. Recently, Chaco, this parish, there was someone training. Thank God for his life. And എല്ലാവരും പേരുകളായിട്ട് ആഗ്രഹിക്കുന്നില്ല. പിന്നെ വാക്കുകളാണ് പേരുകളുടെ ജീവിതത്തിലെ വേദനകൾ അനുഭവിക്കുന്നതിനെ കൂടുതൽ നിൽക്കുക. അവർക്കൊരു നവജീവൻ സാധ്യത പറയുക. അമ്മ കൺവിൻസ് ആകാൻ ഡോക്ടറിലിരിക്കുന്ന ഒരു സ്ത്രീ ലോസ്റ്റ് ദെയർ ഹോപ്പ്. ലോകത്ത് അവർക്ക് പ്രത്യാശയില്ല. വെരി ഡിഫിക്കൽട്ട് ടു കൺവിൻസ് ദ പേഴ്സൺ. We are trying our best and making their life a better place. Our decisions will be other situations കാണാം, വലിയ പാർട്ടിസിപ്പേറ്റ് ചെയ്യാം. ഇവിടെ പറഞ്ഞതൊന്നും പാടുവാക്കുന്നതല്ല, വലിയ കാണുക, പങ്കെടുക്കുക. ആവശ്യമുള്ള വിദ്യാഭ്യാസ ഇന്ന് ആഗ്രഹിക്കുന്ന വിദ്യാലയമാണ്. It should be one of the best childcare institutions in India. We are trying on the best, and our mission is leading that, and we are propagating it. Come and participate in the programs and activities there. ഇപ്പോൾ അവിടെ മറ്റുള്ള സാധനങ്ങൾ കൺസ്ട്രക്ഷൻ നടന്നുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുകയാണ്. It needs more than 60 lakhs of rupees. Now, capital investment എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് is only source of income of our own stakeholders. അതിനകത്ത് പാർട്ടിസിപ്പേറ്റ് ചെയ്യാൻ താല്പര്യപ്പെടുന്നത് തീർച്ചയായും പാർട്ടിസിപ്പേറ്റ് എന്തിനാണ് ഒന്നെന്ന് പറയുന്നത് കുഞ്ഞുങ്ങളുടെ മഴക്കാലത്തെയും ചൂടുകാലത്തെയും ഇക്കോണമീസ് കണ്ടീഷൻസ് ആവശ്യമില്ല. Every day we need to engage with children in sports and games activities based on genres. നമ്മുടെ ജീവിതത്തിൽ 160 കുഞ്ഞുങ്ങളെ നമ്മൾ സൂക്ഷിക്കാനുള്ള ഏറ്റവും ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻറ്റ് സർവീസ് ഓൺ വില്ലേജ്. Now we have a license only for 100 here. Now this is the time to build 3 more houses to accommodate our 160 children. License process is at it's a right time, it's a frustrated time. We need your time, come forward and raise your hands and work for the completion of 3 more houses there. ഇതിന്റെ ഭാഗമായിട്ട് അനേക കാര്യങ്ങൾ പറയാൻ ടൈമിൽ ഈ കാണുന്ന streams of life. That's a program we have planned to have on 9th of November 2019 at Shakumananda Hall of Mandala. Everybody sharing is a fundraising effort of Navjeevan Centre to meet the expenditures of these type of activities. Particularly, കുടുംബമായി സംബന്ധിക്കുന്നതിനായിട്ട് ശ്രദ്ധിക്കുന്നത്. സന്തോഷത്തോടെ സ്വാഗതം ചെയ്യുന്നു. Thank you so much. Our respected community is always in Navjeevan's ministry. Even each and every minor things of Navjeevan Centre, each child, each mother, and each Muslim, each child of function. Thank you so much. And our pleasure of our institute is always in the science. How many numbers? Simon and Hamza is there because the representative of Mumbai Centre. Executive members, our vice president, and all of us. പ്രിയപ്പെട്ട എല്ലാ അച്ഛന്മാരോടും സന്തോഷം സേവനം തുടർന്നു പാർട്ടിസിപ്പേറ്റ്. കൂടുതൽ വിവരങ്ങൾ അറിയുവാനായിട്ട് നമുക്ക് ഇവിടെ ലഭ്യമാണ്. പുറത്ത് കൗണ്ടറുണ്ട്, നിങ്ങളെ സമീപിക്കണം, പാർട്ടിസിപ്പേറ്റ് ചെയ്യണം. ഈ ഇടവഴികളോട് മുംബൈ സെന്ററുണ്ട്, ഹോസ്പിറ്റലിനോട് എല്ലാ പ്രിയപ്പെട്ട വൈദ്യരോടും തിരുമയോടും എല്ലാവരോടും വാക്കുകളത്തെ പോസിറ്റീവ് ഡിഫറൻസ്
തീരുമാനങ്ങളോടും പുതിയ പ്രതിജ്ഞകളോടും നമ്മൾ നടന്നുപോകാനില്ല. ഇപ്പോൾ മിസ്റ്റർ സൈമൺ എബ്രഹാമിനെ ക്ഷണിക്കുന്നു. അഭിനന്ദനത്തിനുവേണ്ടി ഡോക്ടർ സുനിത പ്ലീസ് നമ്മുടെ സ്റ്റേജ്. അഭിനന്ദനത്തിനുവേണ്ടി മൊമെന്റ് സൈമൺ എബ്രഹാം പ്ലീസ് and hand over the moment.
We now have the closing prayer by eminent Saath function, followed by the rendition of the hymn.
Creator God, our Heavenly Father, we pray that your Spirit may rule all things. Grant us the vision of your word as your Lord have made. The world where the weak are protected, especially to give life to helpless women and children. A world where different communities and culture live in harmony and mutual respect. A world where peace is built
with justice, and justice is guided by love. May your Holy Spirit guide us on the way of peace, breaking the culture of tolerance, on the way of foundation and life for all. We pray for the work of the Navjeevan. Now they are entering into the Silver Jubilee year. All the programs of this year in your mighty hand. God strengthen the directors and all those who are participating in this project, especially the Mumbai diocese members and all the members of the parishes. We pray for our Dr. Sunitha Krishnan and her activities among the youth and children through the Prajwala project. May your Holy Spirit help us to speak up with courage to share what we are and what we have, to challenge the powers that we to offer a message of liberation and life. Thank you, Lord, for bringing us together with our Navjeevan and Dr. Sunitha Krishnan. We pray for all the organizers of this program, especially Thomas Williamson and Dr. John Joseph, and all the members of the Mumbai Centre. Especially we pray for the Navjeevan children, those who are participating in this program. Lord, be with us. We believe that you are the God who always with us. We affirm that we always together with the Navjeevan. Help us to breaking the silence, be with us and strengthen us, keep and protect us. We make this prayer through Christ our Lord. Amen.
There is mercy and nation, God, the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Let us celebrate peace on others, that we carry the Lord ministry, now and always. Amen.
With me and the vegetation, the signboard വെച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട് എല്ലാവരും അതിൽ പോകാം. രണ്ടാമത് നവജീവൻ സെന്ററിന്റെ പ്രവർത്തകർ അവിടെയുണ്ട്, തീർച്ചയായും വിസിറ്റ് ചെയ്യുക. എല്ലാവരും ഫുഡ് പാക്കറ്റ്സ് അറേഞ്ച് ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ട്, എല്ലാവരും അങ്ങോട്ട് കൊണ്ടുപോകണം. പ്രാർത്ഥനയോടെ നവജീവന്റെ നോട്ടർ signboard right side in the right side. We thank all the members of the Mumbai Centre parishes that are
Auntie, side. Okay.
Thank you so much for your
It's very wonderful experience.
Youngsters can bend. Thank you.
Very wonderful experience.
Youngsters can bend. Thank you.
കല്യാണം കഴിക്കാൻ പോയി